Hello, my name is Mohammed Rashid. I spend most of my time tracking how work is actually changing, not the LinkedIn type fashions, the stuff that's genuinely shifting under companies right now. AI hiring is one of those topics everyone's covering somewhere. I wanted to go somewhere different with it. So this video contains an affiliate link. I may earn a commission at extra cost to you. So let us jump into um, you know, uh, but the AI hiring stock. Almost 90% of companies now use AI somewhere in the hiring process. That part of the story is basically over. It happened. What I want you to actually get into is the part almost nobody discovering well. What AI doesn't fix was once you have made that hire, especially if that hire isn't in your own country. That's where the real risk is sitting in 2026. Here's the baseline. Most 2026 surveys put, AI usage somewhere in the hiring funnel at close to 90% of companies. That question, is this still a trend or is it failed? It's closed. It's infrastructure now, not an experiment. So the question worth spending time on is should we use AI to hire? It's what happens after the AI finds someone. Quick numbers, and then you'll move past this because it's simple thing, not the interesting part. Resume screening is the fastest growing single use case. It went from about a third of hiring managers using it well over half in roughly a year. Time to hire is down 25 to 50%, depending on the report. Cost per hire savings are consistently landing around 30%. So adoption fast, real, happening. Got it? Now here is where it gets complicated. This is the twist almost every 2026 hiring report is flagging. Winsour's 2026 AI report found that 91% of recruiters and hiring managers have spotted or strongly suspected AI-enabled candidate deception. Break that down. 63% have seen AI-generated resume exaggeration. Almost half have run into fake references. Over a third have caught candidates using AI live during the actual interview. And recruiters are now training themselves, to spot deepfake video interviews. That's a sentence that would have sounded like science fiction 3 years ago. So employers armed themselves with AI in the first round. Candidates armed themselves right back. And here's the paradox that makes genuinely interesting instead of just one-sided arms race. Even as both sides lean harder into AI, trust is dropping on both sides at the same time. Roughly 2 out of 3 US adults say that they are uncomfortable with a fully algorithmic rejection being turned down by a machine with no human involved. So employers are moving fast, candidates are moving faster. Nobody trusts the process more than they did a year ago. That's not a technology gap, that's a trust gap. And it's exactly why the emerging best practices in East 2026 isn't more about automation. It's a specific division of labor. AI handles volume, sourcing, passport screening, scheduling. Humans skip every decision that actually affects someone's life. The real interview, the offer, anything final. Okay, this is the section I want you to actually remember because it's the path that turns which AI tool should we buy into a legal question, and almost nobody's swimming with that way that four different frameworks are converging on hiring AI at the same time. The EU AI Act classifies recruitment and candidate ranking tools as high-risk systems. New York City's Local Law 154 is already active, not pending, active right now, requiring annual bias audits and candidate notice. Several US states, Illinois, Colorado, among them, are writing their own versions. And the GDPR Article 22 underneath all of it, limiting fully automated decisions that have a real effect on someone's life. That's not one new role to track. That's a genuine new compliance category, and it's arriving from four different directions simultaneously. So let's zoom in into the EU Act, AI Act specifically, because the timeline here has actually been a moving target through 26, and that tells you something about how seriously this is being taken. Originally, high risk employment obligations were due August 2nd, 2026. Through the year, the EU ran a process called the Digital Omnibus, which pushed a lot of these obligations towards December 2027 for most employment use cases. But that delay needed formal council adoption. So depending on where you're watching this, it's worth checking where that stands. The exact date isn't really the point. The point is this is coming, and companies that wait until the deadline to start documenting bias testing are going to be scrambling. Here's the detail that trips people up most. This law is extraterritorial. It doesn't matter where your company is headquartered. If your AI tool evaluates a candidate who's physically in the EU, you are in scope for attire, full stop. A recruiting team in Austin screening someone in Berlin with an AI ranking tool is subject to EU rules on that specific hire. And the stakes here are not abstract. Penalties under the EU framework can run up to 35 million euros, or 7% of global turnover for most serious violations. That's not a line item. That's a board level risk conversion. And that's just one framework. A company hiring globally might be navigating 100 plus, different labor codes, each one changing on its own schedule, often with very little warning. So here is where I think every AI hiring conversion is the point. Sourcing and screening AI gets all the attention because it's visible and it's flashy. The actual hard problem happens after someone accepts an offer. Is the contract even legally valid in that person's country? Is the person correctly classified employee or contractor? Because getting that wrong is one of the most common and most expensive mistakes in global hiring. Are statutory benefits and tax withholding handled the way local law actually requires, not the way someone at headquarters assumes it works? Are termination protections actually built in? AI can help you, find and run talent anywhere in the world faster than any recruiter could manually. It cannot, on its own, make that high legally sound. That's not a mod limitation fixed with a better prompts. That's an infrastructure problem. This is where a platform like Deel sits in the 2026 hiring stack, and I want to be specific about what that actually means. Deel operates as a global employment infrastructure. It functions as an employer record, meaning it becomes the legal employee in countries where your company doesn't have its own entity. Plus a global payroll engine, plus the compliance layer underneath. But in practice, that means AI-driven front end of hiring can move exactly as fast as this tool allows. While the back end contracts, statutory compliance, payroll, local classification is running on an infrastructure, kind of built specifically to kind of track, shifting, local labor laws, including the exact kind of AI specific employment regulation, we get stuck to do. So if this is one thing I want to take from this video, it's this tools that make hiring fast and the tools that make hiring legal are not the same category of product anymore. And treating them as interchangeable is exactly where companies get banned. A screening AI has no option whether a contractor in Brazil is not misclassified. A ranking tool doesn't know it needs a documented live audit before it touches an application in Berlin. That's not a friend AI. It's just not what it was built to do. The companies handling 2026 well aren't the ones with the flashiest sourcing AI. They're the ones who split the problem into two and gave each half the infrastructure actually built for each. So if you're hiring staff right now, really just ends up find the candidate. That's half a system. The link in the description walks you through how Deel handles the other half, compliance, hiring, and payroll across 150 plus countries. So the speed you're getting from AI on the phone and doesn't turn into legal exposure on the back end, yeah, that's something that we should actually look into. Thanks for watching. If this was useful, do subscribe. I'm going to keep tracking how this regulatory picture develops through the rest of 2026. Thank you all, and have a great day.